welcome to our lesson for today. So, last time we talked about how Saul was jealous of David. How David came to play the harp for Saul and how it was soothing to him. But how David also became a very good soldier because he was growing up in the palace. And how the people were now praising David more than they were praising Saul. And how Saul got very, very jealous. And how he tried to kill David twice. Well,
three times.
Yes. He tried to kill David, and how it was very sad, and how Saul was very, very afraid. So now we're gonna see what happened with Saul and with David.
So even though King Saul's jealousy and anger towards David was growing big, David still had a friend and an ally in the palace, and this was Jonathan.
And remember, we said that Jonathan was King Saul's son.
Yes.
So King Saul's son was friends with David.
Yes. King Saul's son, who was Jonathan, was friends with David, and he was willing to look out for David at any cost.
He was willing to be a very good friend. Now, Jonathan was a brave soldier, and he was also a very good soldier, just like David. And Jonathan was very happy to have another young man who is willing to do God's work. I mean, David fought Goliath in the name of God, and this made Jonathan very happy
because as much as David was a young boy, he was confident enough to even face Goliath and to face him in the name of God.
Yes.
And so Jonathan knew when he saw David that they were going to be very, very good friends.
Yes. So Jonathan, unlike his father, Jonathan was not jealous of David at all. He was actually very happy that David was in the palace, and Jonathan did not feel like David was taking his place in the palace.
He was not jealous.
He was not jealous of him. So because of this, Jonathan and David decided to make a pact that they will be friends forever.
Yes. Now remember, Jonathan was also a soldier, and he was a brave soldier, and he was very happy for David, and he was happy to have David in the palace.
Yes.
So when they decided to make a promise to be friends forever, Jonathan took his bow, his belt,
and his sword.
Yes.
So he took those three things, the sword, the bow, and the belt, and he gave them to David.
And that was supposed to be a sign that they were going to be friends through good times and through bad times.
They would be friends forever. Now, remember, King Saul was still very, very jealous of David, and was very angry. And this became the only thing he could think about. He thought of nothing else except
to kill David.
Yes. So he called all of his advisors, and he called Jonathan, and he told them, I am going to kill David. And as soon as Jonathan heard this, he went and he warned David. He told David, you need to go. You need to run.
You need to get out of the king's way because he wants to kill you. King Saul wants to kill you. So you have to go and hide until I come and tell you that it's okay for you to come back to the palace. And so David went and he hid himself
away from the king.
Yes.
Away from King Saul. And then now Jonathan went and he found his father alone. And he told King Saul, you cannot kill David. Not after all he has done for Israel, after all he has done for you. Remember, he killed Goliath in the name of God, and God gave him the strength and the courage to kill Goliath.
Yes, and David has served you well all this time.
He did whatever you wanted him to do. He obeyed.
And so Saul kept quiet for a moment, and he thought, really, David does not deserve to die. And so he swore in the name of the Lord, and he said, as long as God lives, I will not kill David. But that was just for that moment. Maybe we are going to find out later what happened next. But you see, Jonathan was a very good friend to David. He even went to his father, who was very angry, and even begged for the sake of David not to be killed.
And he got his father to say, I will not kill David. And then Jonathan went and he told David, it is safe for you to come back. Yes.
So just like Jonathan, God expects us to be good friends to our friend.
Yes.
Because even Jesus, who is our friend, he's a good friend to us.
Yes.
And so Jonathan was able to promise David that he was going to be his friends in good times and in bad times. And even when he got the word that his father Saul wanted to kill David, he went and he told David, and he warned him because he was a good friend to David. So kids, let's always be good friends to
our friends.
Our friends. Yes, so now we're going to stand up and sing a song that is going to remind us to always be good friends and that Jesus is a good friend and a best friend to us. So let's all stand up and sing this song.
Okay, kids, so we've just talked about how Jonathan and David are such good friends and about how God wants us to be good friends to our friends, and about how Jesus says that he is our friend. So now we are going to sing a song that reminds us that Jesus is our best friend and that he is always there for us, the same way Jonathan was there for David. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. Jesus is my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, he's always there for me. Jesus is my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, he's always there for me. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Jesus is my best friend, he's always there for me. Jesus is my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, he's always there for me. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Jesus is my best friend, he's always there for me. He's always there for me. He's always there for me. Yay! Okay, kids, so we've just talked about how Jonathan was such a good friend to David and how God wants us to be good friends to our friends.
Yes.
So now we're going to make something that will remind us to always be good friends. So remember we said Jonathan gave David his sword, his bow, and his belt. So now we're gonna make arrows and a bow. No, not a bow. Arrows, and we're gonna
And then
keep
you're
our
going to
arrows.
put them inside a bag.
I don't know what an arrow bag is called, but we're going to make it, and we're going to put our arrows inside, and on top we're going to write "Be a good friend," and this is always going to remind us to be a good friend, the way Jonathan and David were good friends to each other.
Yes.
So what we're gonna need is we have our ribbon here, we have our manila paper that we've cut into the shape of an arrowhead and the bottom part of an arrow plus its shaft, and then we're going to need a rectangular shaped manila paper, and this is what we're going to roll up, and it will be our holder, and then we're going to also use this to finish up our holder. So take the rectangular shape manila paper and write "Be a good friend," because this is what we need to be.
So you need to make it as bold and as big as possible.
Yes.
Just to fit your paper though. Be
a good friend. And this is our lesson for today. That's why we're writing them big and bold. Be a good friend in capital letters. And then we're going to write 1 Samuel chapter 18.
So that is where you find the story of David and Jonathan.
Yes.
And actually the reason we're making arrows and putting them in a holder is because Jonathan gave David a bow. But remember, to use a bow, you have to have arrows. And being a good friend means that you're going to shoot arrows of goodness. So we are going to have different arrows to represent different things that we can do as good friends. So the first one you're going to say you need to have love for you to be a good friend. So you're going to shoot the arrow of love, and then you're going to make another one that's going to say goodness. So you need to be good to your friend, and you'll make another one that says kindness, which means you have to be kind to
always to your friends.
So you need to shoot kindness every time with your bow. And then the last one you're going to say helpfulness, because you need to be helpful anytime your friend needs your help.
Yes, so we have 4
arrows.
So after you've written be a good friend, we need to roll this up so it can look like an actual bag, an actual arrow holder. So we're going to roll this up and make sure you can see your words, be a good friend. So after you roll it up, we're just going to take our stapler and we're going to staple it as we've rolled it.
Yeah.
Staple it and make sure it is firm and secure,
and you're able to see your words, be a good friend.
Yes. And after we've done this, we had a strip of manila paper, and this is just going to help us close up our quiver. That's what the arrow holder is called. It's called a quiver.
It's a quiver.
So we'll take this strip.
We remembered.
So we'll take this strip and we'll put it through the bottom part of our quiver, and then we're going to staple its ends so that it's very nice and firm and secure. Make sure you don't staple the 2 of them together. You still need space in the middle. So now we have our arrows, and we have our arrow quiver. And remember, it's written be a good friend, so we can always be a good friend. Let me just finish stapling this other side of my quiver. So there, now we have our quiver. Now we need to make our arrows. Remember, we had these rectangular strips, very narrow strips, plus the arrowhead and the bottom of the arrow. So now we're just going to staple all of these pieces together.
So one stick will represent your
love.
Yes.
So the first arrow is the arrow of love. And then we need another one for caring.
Yeah, so every strip needs to have a peak and a base.
And then we'll have another one for goodness. So we always need to be good to our friends.
Yes. Be a good friend.
Be a good friend. And then our final one is for helpfulness. Finish up the helpfulness arrow. So all of these arrows are going to remind us on how to be a good friend to our friends.
These are the things you need to do to show that you're a good friend.
Yes. So now let's just label all of these things. Yeah. So take your color or your pencil and decorate your arrows and label them. So the first one is love. So in big capital letters, write love.
You can color, you can decorate it, but make sure you have the word love.
And you can see it.
Yes.
Then after love, we'll write caring. Remember, big capital letters.
Kind.
Then we have goodness to remind us to be good. And then finally we have helpful. So now we have our arrows, we have our quiver, but we don't have a way to carry our quiver.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're going to do is we'll take our ribbon and we will put it through our quiver. So start at the bottom. When we put the bottom part of our quiver, we made sure there was space down here at the bottom. So just start at the bottom and push your ribbon through until you see it at the top. And then once it's out on this other side, you can just tie it together.
Or staple it.
Or staple it together, whichever is easier for you.
Yeah.
For us, we're going to staple them. Now we have our quiver and we have our arrows. So we're going to put our arrows in. We'll start with love. Then we'll go to goodness. Helpful. And caring.
Yeah.
There.
And there you have it.
And now we have our quiver and we have our arrows and we can
quiver.
carry them. This is our craft for today.
Yeah.
So it's going to always remind us that we need to be good friends to our friends, the way Jonathan was to David.
Yes, so that is it for today. Until next time,
Bye.
bye.